Greetings and welcome to Armored Core Requiem, the series where I take on players' submitted builds and optimize them to the best of my abilities. I've been doing this for a while now, and so far my upgrades have not disappointed. The process goes like this. I take on a player's submitted build, upgrade it live on stream for any viewer as well as the creator of the build themselves to add any input before the final verdict. And then I do this, I make the video discussing the original gameplay of the build as well as all the upgrade decisions, and then do a final PvP test to determine which variant is superior. So if you have a build you would like me to take a look at, you can leave a comment with the build information and or share code, depending on not if you're on Xbox, and yeah, I'll give it the good old Requiem treatment. However, if you want a faster result, you can find the link in the description below to the Xbox Fight Club Discord, or you can go to the Requiem workshop and post your build information there. There I'll get back to you much quicker with the upgraded variant, however I will not be giving it the YouTube treatment of going over every single change. You can ask questions and we can have a more personal, private conversation about the build's upgrades in case you don't want the build to be public, or you just want a quicker result without all of the bells and whistles of the video. But yes, all is said, I appreciate you all, have a good one, and enjoy the video. Greetings and welcome back to Requiem. We have two builds we upgraded live on stream yesterday, so let's take a look. For our first build, we have a reverse joint, close range, high stagger, double melee build. For the weapons, we have the Sweet 16 shotgun, the best closest range shotgun in the game with a high direct hit adjustment and very high impact indeed. You do need to be very close for these to actually do anything though. And then next we have the Laser Lance, a very strong melee weapon, very useful in or outside of stagger, super high damaging as most melees are, but it has a bit of inconsistency when it comes to latency. Sometimes you'll just slide off your opponent, which can be quite irritating, but it is pretty decent for allowing like heavier builds to get around faster, allowing you to just, zip up in the air, zip across the arena indubitably. And for back weapons, we have the Xiaowi, the Gatling gun. This is pretty decent for constant stagger buildup at your own pace, as you will have to actually activate it. Although it does tend to lose its accuracy with recoil, unlike something like the Bullet Orbit Huxley, which will keep firing even if you're dodging around, and it will not lose its great accuracy. But the Xiaowi does have a much faster cooling, so it will allow for much more consistent stagger break, but not as much. So it's very much the weaker but faster variant of the Huxley. And then lastly, we have the Pile Bunker to pair with our double melee feature. The normal attack of it does favor from the boost increase from a booster's melee attack thrust. Its charge does not, but you can just kind of go for the normal attack, cancel into charge, and you'll still carry the momentum. Very, very powerful weapon. Very good for some actual stagger buildup on the normal attack, but super good as a stagger punish indeed. For the parts, nothing crazy specific other than the Bastio arms for their high melee spec, making our double melee do that much more damage. And like I said, this is a reverse joint build, which lends itself to quite a few good techniques, such as the reverse joint kicks, taking advantage of the coral generator as it can hop into the sky quite fast and stay there for quite long, allowing it to regen the coral generator energy while airborne, indubitably. For inner parts, for booster, we have the Max Melee Thrust Booster. This booster is super good for using your melee to zip around the map, and mainly for speed, as this is one of the heavier boosters in the game, so you will need to rely on that melee thrust to get around and chase down your opponent. Super good for double melee builds, or just a normal melee build in general. For FCS, we have the Talbot, best for medium and close range assist. And for generator, the Mangtang, a very solid all-rounder gen if you can afford it. And lastly, expansion, Assault Armor. Alrighty, and the main flow of the build goes as such. Close the distance, whether you get there through kicks or what have you. Use high stagger with the shoulder-mounted minigun as well as the Sweet 16. Use the charge attack of the Lance into the charge attack of the Pile Bunker, and preferably that will be it for your opponent. But yeah, there's everything you need to know about the original build, and now let's take it into the Requiem workshop.
Requiem.
Here we are, Requiem. For the weapons, I ended up switching the Sweet 16 to the Zimmerman for much more consistency without having to rely on getting so close that the Sweet 16 can actually work. Keeping the Laser Lance as well as the Pile Bunker, as those are the mainstays of the build. Switching out the Gatling gun for the Bullet Orbit Huxley. Not needing to hold down the trigger as well as being able to dodge around without losing accuracy will lend itself to be much more consistent, as well as it does do greater stagger pressure, although will come back a lot slower. For the mainframe parts, just made changes for much more durability, kept the Bastio arms for the same reason. And in most cases, I don't tend to wish to change the legs of the AC as they are the soul of the AC. As much as I don't like to change the main flow of the build. But in this case, with these weapons, the weapons kind of contradict the reverse joint legs that we had before. So yeah, it's very hard to land weapons like this with reverse joint. Laser lance, not so much, but pile bunker, definitely. For inner parts, keeping the same booster, as again, it's kind of like a mainstay of the build, using the melees as mobility rather than our natural speed. If we do want more natural speed, we can just opt out to the Alula, boosting us up to 340, hitting the 330 speed threshold, and yeah, that should be pretty good. For FCS, switching from the Talbot to the Ocellus, as that is the range we will be in. And switching the generator to Coral, as it will give us a lot more capacity, allowing us to use our melee canceling to get around a lot more often. And switching the expansion to the much more reliable pulse armor. And for the flow, it works exactly the same as the last, where you can use your shoulder and normal weapon to get some stagger. And yep, double melee. Or you can open up with the pile bunker, the normal hit to build brick stagger into the lance. And with those two combos, you can have a bit of variety and play around with your enemy. How you can even use the normal attack of both of the melee weapons to not only close the distance, but do some basic damage. And kind of play around with those combos, confuse the enemy a wee bit. But yep, this is Requiem. We'll get to the PvP test after we take a look at the next build. Alrighty, here it is, our next build, a bipedal, fast, close-range melee build, with a mixture of medium to close-range weaponry. For our weapons, we have the assault rifle Scudder, very solid for close to medium range, consistent stagger buildup. Next, we have the laser slicer, very good melee for stagger punish indeed. For the shoulder mounts, we have two swap weapons. First, we have the siege missile launcher, a super good handheld missile launcher because of the missiles pretty much standing in place before immediately going at the target, meaning you can fire these off, dodge around, assault boost, curve around the enemy so that the missiles hit the enemy in the back. Lots of cool things you can do with this missile launcher indeed. Then lastly, we have the Sampu, a burst handgun, Rusty's handgun. Very solid, close range, high stagger build-up weapon. For the frame parts, Varel Head for good durability and stats, Albacore for speed and decent stats, the Bastio arms for high melee specs so that our slicer does a lot of damage. Thing about these arms and the two other weapons we have is the its recoil control and firearm spec are pretty shit, which means we're going to see a lot of recoil, unfortunately, with these weapons and these arms. And lastly, the soul, the Alba legs. Pretty durable, very light legs indeed. For inner parts, for booster, we have a Lula, very solid for close range builds as they have very nice stats as well as great assault boost thrust. And for FCS, the P05, the max medium range assist FCS, which is very strange for having a close range weapon and a medium range weapon, sure, but also a melee build that needs to be close. A very strong contradiction indeed. And for generator, the Mengtang, again, a very nice well-rounded gen if you can afford it. And expansion, assault armor. The main flow of this build is to get it at a more or less medium range, so anything beyond 130 meters, anything within 260, so in between those two. Fire off missiles, and then use your ranged weapons. The thing is, we see a lot of ricochet and recoil from these both weapons, but yeah, it's not preferable. Well, one stagger is broken one day. We go in with the melee. Thing is, we might not have enough time because we're so far because of our FCS. But yeah, that is the main build. Let's take a look at Requiem. And here we are, Requiem. For the weapons, I ended up switching the Scudder to the Curtis for its higher damage, decent fire rate, and pretty nice charge attack. Doesn't overheat, can fire about 3 times, I believe, before overheating. The stagger it puts out is quite mighty. Keeping the Slicer as it is the mainstay of the build. Switching the Siege Missile to the Javelin Beta as we don't have to switch to fire it. It fires off more consistent, the reload time is much faster, and overall is very goated. It did get nerfed in this most recent patch in that every projectile fired after will always follow the same guidance. That won't affect it by too much. But it has less adaptability, and the blast radius has been nerfed as well. Still, it does high amounts of stagger, comes back the same, still is a very good option, just is not as strong as it used to be, which honestly is very good. Another super good weapon that just got nerfed that we are using, the Viento. Its reload and impact has been nerfed. Still super solid option for this type of build, but it is definitely not as strong as it once was, which again is very, very good. For the frame parts, keeping pretty much all the exact same, Alba, and Varel, except for switching out the arms for more balance in firearm and melee spec from Bastio, as we're going to need it if we want to pair both the Viento and the Curtis together with a minimum recoil. For inner parts, using the Alula booster for the same reasons, switching the FCS to Ocellus as that is the range we will be in, as well as switching the generator to the Akushi generator as we can afford it, and its regen and capacity is very, very nice for a cool, fast flow build like this indeed. And switching the expansion to the good old reliable pulse armor. And the flow of the build remains the same. Fire out missile and spray and pray with your double weapons until stagger break, and then use melee. A similar BVO type setup with medium and close range weaponry. Yep, those are the builds. I'll see who I can get on for the PvP test. Alrighty, I got my good old buddy Shattered, like usual on. Links to his projects, his comics will be in the description below if you would like to take a look. Please do. Very cool stuff over there. Very unique, very neat, indubitably. But yeah, he'll be piloting the original variants of the builds, and I will be piloting Requiem. Enjoy.
Because the wrist joints like kick a lot differently now compared to all our leg types. I'm used to like tank legs.
Yeah, they have more range with the most like wind up. Like they have to go up and then shoot forward. And that usually is enough time to predict the dodge, but still even they'll kick the air on one screen and still hit. Yeah, they're pretty ranky.
Ooh, gutsy, okay.
Yeah. Ooh. Ooh.
What? Fuck it up. Oh. Okay, I thought I had the fucking other one out. Here it is. I'm good.
No.
Damn! That hit me.
Why do I always slide over? And then you get the whole thing. What is that? I literally hit you perfectly. I just slide over, man. The inconsistency of the lance kills me, brother. Man.
Okay. Why is when I use it, it instantly hits me? I use my fucking expansion. Ow.
I think this is the goal of the lance is just be ballsy.
No,
what?
please no.
What am I aiming at?
Get away from me.
No.
Ah! No!
Yeah, the nature of lance and monk is just be aggressive as possible.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the wrong weapon. Oh, God. Ooh, almost.
Oh, damn
that
it,
could have been dope.
you. Damn it, I came back here.
Almost.
I thought I could land like the in-your charge, but I didn't. Fucked it up. God, I always keep trying to dodge forward on that. I'm gonna die here because of that. I thought the other one out. Damn it. Okay, what was that?
Yeah, dude.
Can you also see me just like,
you hit and then turn around. It's so, dude, it's so inconsistent. I hate it, but you know, it's rough. Oh my god. Alright. Not Rusty versus not Rusty Requiem. Shit.
You're also gonna see the new nerf to the Vientos.
True. Yeah, a lot slower now. It takes like, oh man, with the impact nerf, it takes like, what's it, like 3 whole clips
oh
to,
my god, I can't control the recoil, it's all. The recoil is terrible.
Yeah, it's rough.
Also, just don't play lightweights. Your skin. Yep.
I love me some lightweight play.
Ow.
Angle, not great. Wabadoo.
Yeah, I can't play up in the air.
I meant to just cancel it.
Wait for you, goddamn demon.
Weird boy. You have a salt timer, by the way.
I know I do. I just haven't got a good place to. I don't think killing this for me is just the fucking the recoil effect can't actually hit
Oh
you.
yeah, your accuracy is not those. It's bad. It's just a bad matchup. Because then I'm as fast as you, so I can stay within your range, more like my range, of 130, which is bad for your max medium range assist. You need to stay beyond 130 and into 60. But I don't have that problem because Ricky Rats.
Yeah, especially just staying there. It's harder to dodge your missiles.
You're right.
Yeah, to be real, it's just the vehicle carrying you right now.
Sure, and Curtis. Man, Curtis is goated. Curtis can work at any range. Oh my god. Oh
It's over.
god, it's over. Alrighty, and that is it for Requiem. If you do have a build you would like us to take a look at live and in the Requiem series, do leave a comment with your build info. And yeah, y'all have yourselves a very good one. I appreciate y'all for watching, and yes, have a good one. Peace.